Hello, my name is Israel Tejada.
My name is Nate Richmond.
Brittany Absher.
My name is Jesse Stetz.
And today we want to address the grand challenge of providing access to clean drinking water around the world through economical well drilling. So around the world, 1 in 6 people lack access to clean drinking water. And this lack of access to clean water causes a variety of issues from dehydration to an increase in disease. As when contaminants get into the water and people ingest it, it can infect the immune system. In addition, having a lack of access to clean water also reduces access to sanitation. As to bathe and sanitize other things, it requires water. And so cleaning things becomes a lot more difficult without it, which just increases the amount of disease that spreads through communities. So for all of these reasons, lack of access to clean drinking water actually results in a lot of death around the world. In fact, it causes even more death than war. There are plenty of affected groups around the world, and of course, any group that lacks access to clean drinking water, but this can be mostly focused in more developing countries like Uganda or certain areas in India.
Currently, there are a lot of solutions and technologies to tackle this grand challenge, both active and passive. The most effective passive method is gravity-fed water filters for existing water collection methods. However, this method is not the most dependable because it relies on the climate. Active solutions include hand digging open wells or using augers, which is a simple and cheap method. However, it's prone to drying up and contamination. Another method, which is a good source, is desalination of seawater. However, this requires a lot of energy to accomplish in large quantities. The final and most reliable source of water is drilling to aquifers with some sort of rig using a water pump and drill string.
So our solution involves multiple certain aspects. Mostly it is the optimization of current methods of acquiring water because there are physically only so many ways that you can get clean drinking water. So one solution, and probably the biggest and most important solution, would be to optimize drill rigs capable of getting to aquifer levels, like the village drill. One way we could make the village drill more economical and more sustainable to be able to reach more people would be to make the frame out of aluminum. It is cheaper than steel and also lighter to transport, so it would reduce shipping costs and material costs, which would lower the initial costs of the well and therefore make each borehole cheaper and hopefully would be able to reach more people with water. Another thing that could be improved on the village drill would be to replace the gasoline water pump with an electric one powered by solar panels. This is only possible in certain areas. It is very climate dependent, like it would only be possible in very sunny areas like Africa, and not in like heavily wooded jungle areas like say in Brazil. And it would have a higher initial cost, but would pay for itself over time because you would not have to pay for gasoline to run the water pump, and it would also keep the system more self-contained and lower the carbon footprint as well. So those would be a couple of fairly basic but probably very effective ways to make the village drill method of hand drilling boreholes more efficient. Another solution could be to passively collect water from the atmosphere using very light structures, similar to the way a spider web catches dew. You could harvest fog and dew. Generally, this would happen overnight. The structures required to do this would be very cheap, very inexpensive, light, and easy to set up. However, this solution is very dependent on climate and weather. But it could be a bridge between solutions to provide more clean water while a more sustainable and long-term solution for the area is being reached.
Our solution addresses the target audience by providing a way to dig wells that's cheaper and more sustainable. Although there are design shortcomings in feasibility studies, the initial cost would be very high for the drill rig, about $24,000, and the parts are not easily replaceable. But in passive collection, it is also very dependent on the climate. But our solution, the cons don't outweigh the pros, so we still believe that our solution would still be better than the competing solutions.
So to conclude, providing people with water is a very important challenge that affects millions and millions of people day to day. And there are many good solutions currently out there. However, all of those solutions have the potential for optimization and improvement. And of course, new solutions could potentially be reached, which is where engineering and the Grand Challenge project comes into play.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
Thank
listening.
you.